Okay, calling the January 15th, 2026 Multimodal Safety Committee to order. It's that time of year again when we have the election of the chair and vice chair. I will not be offended if anyone wants to step up. Do we have any nominations for that role?
I'd like to nominate Mike again.
Second.
Did you not get the check I sent you?
All opposed? Okay.
The second was by Trevor, right? Oh, okay.
That's one.
Okay, that's one down.
You-
Now I need a vice chair.
Oh, wait, are there any more nominations?
Oh, that's true. Are there any other? Anybody? Don't be shy.
Okay, we need to vote on that.
Yeah, oh, that's right. We do need to vote. Okay, so all in favor of me remaining as chair, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Am I allowed to do that?
Go ahead.
No, any abstentions? Okay, it passed unanimously. Okay, now we can move on to
Vice Chair,
vice chair.
Yeah, vice chair.
nominate Hirsch for Vice Chair.
I second.
You gotta speak
I
up
like
faster.
her. Oh, sorry.
Okay, so we have a nomination for Hirsch. Do we have any other nominations? All right. So all in favor of Hirsch as our vice chair for 2026, say aye. Aye. Any anti-votes or abstentions?
I'll abstain.
Yeah. Okay, well, that passed too.
And who seconded that one? Okay, thank you.
All right, moving on. And I know where you all live too, so.
Yes.
The approval of November 2025's minutes. Do we have a motion to approve?
I would move that we approve the minutes as presented.
Second it. Oh.
I
go ahead,
second.
Trevor.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of the approving the minutes as written, say aye. Aye. Any abstentions or opposition? No? Okay, passed. Okay, next is the appearance of interested persons. This is a time when someone can come up and speak on an issue that is not on the agenda for the evening. So we have Rachel Navarro.
I will wait for something that's already on the agenda.
Okay. And Rhonda Rich and Brenda Lamb.
Good evening, Rhonda Rich, President of the West Kaiser Neighborhood Association.
Brenda Lamb, board member on the Kaiser Neighborhood Association.
Okay. Happy New Year. Glad to see you all here. It's a full crowd there. I'm here tonight, both of us are here tonight, to give the West Kaiser Neighborhood Association input on the pedestrian road crossings list that you had sent out, I think Dawn sent out to the neighborhood associations. So I sent this out by email, attached an email, and asked people if they had any input. And we had our meeting last week, and 20 people, and I got one response. And I'll go ahead and submit those, but we, as a board, we also are coming up with a couple that we discussed. And I think it's just, Brenda's going to expand on this, but I think it's just kind of daunting to give somebody this, maybe who's not too into traffic, looking at these spots, but Brenda has some good ideas. What was submitted, was River Road at Plymouth, River Road at Country Glen, Cherry Avenue at Shady Beaver, and one of these at Verta Lane. There's 3 that were listed for Verta. So with the West Kaiser Neighborhood Association, there's 3 areas I think we're looking at. Down on Chamala, we're Kaiser Rapids Park is. We have a pedestrian flag crossing right now. And I think as we get more people into the park and at night and during the summer, it's going to be really busy. And I think the pedestrian flag has been very productive. We haven't gotten a lot of input, but it's being used. And it is a tool that somebody can use to cross safely across Chamawa. But I think a flashing sign needs to go there eventually where that is, or at 15th. For the people who come from Northwest, which Hirsch says he gets a lot of input of people using that crossing, that pilot flag program there. So just as what you have here on Chamawa with the crossing across to City Hall, I think that would be comparable to that with the amount of people that will be crossing Chamawa. Because when those games are over, it's just nonstop traffic. There's a lot of traffic now just with the turf fields. And then in the summer when we have the Kaiser Fest and other events, it'll be important to have something a little more substantial there, possibly. And then on River Road at Hollyhock, we will be getting a Burgerville at some point. And that may be a good place to put a traffic light, just like you have at Burger King, because we don't want the traffic from the Burgerville going into the neighborhood to go back into the neighborhood to get down to Sunset or down where Burger King is. Is that Plymouth? Glenbrook. So, and that looked like a good spot because about every couple blocks, we do have a traffic light on River Road. And so there's going to be a lot of people using that. And and another thought is, I know it's not pedestrian road crossings, but possibly looking at sidewalks between Chamawa and Lock Haven on Windsor Island Road, because there's going to be a lot more traffic from the park, and there's just, that's just, seems like a bad area to me. I don't know, Hirsch, it's kind of in your neighborhood, but there's...
It's already on our list.
Okay, because there's sidewalks where the apartments are, so it's
They're
just...
not continuous.
Right. So,
And the sidewalks are only on one side and then the other, and then they're blocked, so.
right, they need to be continuous between Chamawa and Lock Haven, just like they are on Shoreline. So,
So just for clarification, I'm looking at a map, you're talking up Berta Lane then? Is that what you're talking? No.
no,
It's two things, right?
no, just in our
Oh,
area.
Windsor, I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong spot. I got you.
Okay.
My bad.
I just want to build on what she said. So like when when I suggested that we take a survey of what crossings, I also sent, hopefully you guys got the link that I sent Don, since our last meeting that showed what Salem was able to do with an interactive map that allows anybody who drives in Salem to click on places they think need some kind of work for pedestrian safety. So, I don't know that our city can afford it, but if it could, then you'd actually get drivers and pedestrians saying where there actually needs something. But at our meeting, with that said, at our meeting, River Road at Plymouth, that's nowhere near a streetlight whatsoever. And there's a bus stop on both sides. So people get off the bus and have to cross in the dark or the light. And you know River Road doesn't stop, nobody stops. So I know that we have this nice thoroughway that gets people where they need to go. I just happened to have to go to Portland this last week. I went to Woodstock neighborhood and then up to Hawthorne to go to the bookstore up there. They have similar roads that are veins that people are driving through, but they have safe crossings. So we don't have to make it up. We can look at what other cities, even the closer to us, are doing that gets the traffic through, but also makes it a walkable city. And as we look into the future, I know that we're planning on, as natural attrition, where old buildings are getting replaced with apartments, we're not going to get less pedestrians, we're going to get more, and we need this to be a walkable city. So it would be really, and this isn't what I was hoping we'd do. I was hoping we'd just say like, hey, where do we want to put a flashing light? But I think we need to be thinking about down the road, how we're gonna rebuild River Road so it is both functional as getting through and safe for pedestrians. In the meanwhile, if we can do anything at Plymouth, because that's just an accident waiting to happen.
That's
Thank
all we
you.
have.
And just to clarify, you did say at Hollyhock, you wanted a traffic signal, not just a.
That's where the Burgerville will be.
Yeah.
I guess we could do one at Plymouth too. And these beacons, I guess, are called pedestrian hybrid beacons, PHB. I did a little research on it. They have them on, there's one on Hawthorne and Lancaster and Portland Road. So it seems like Salem has quite a few of them. I think we just have the one on Chemawa here right now. So I think that's a pretty good tool that people can, if they're going to cross, they hit the button and then there's flashing.
Right, right.
Light.
And having that midway island that can help too.
There might, need to be a safety island.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Especially on something like River Road because it is so wide.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a long crossing.
it is.
Exactly, yeah. Well, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
No one had any more questions? Did you?
Just a quick question. Have you submitted something in paper such that we have all those locations written down?
No, but I can send it to Dawn.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Please, thank you. Yeah.
Real quick,
Yeah.
since he asked a question, I'll ask one as well. You mentioned River Road and Country Glen. You're recommending a
Oh,
crossing go there?
that was a submission by one of the members at the meeting. So they just circled it as, making a safer crossing there.
I take that exit, getting onto River Road every day. I live in the Country Glen neighborhood. We need something to get across to the other side safely, especially if the kids don't want to go to Country Glen Park and they want to go to the park down the street, down River Road. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think a priority should be looking at the schools and parks, getting people across the street safely. Even recurs to me to Dearborn. I think Tammy's been asking for something, Dearborn, for people to get across there to Claggett Creek Park. I'm not sure, is that 13th? 13th and Dearborn, so I'll leave it to you guys to kind of look at the data and see where it's needed. So thank you for doing this.
Thank you. All right, well, yes, we have one other person.
No.
I failed to put my name on the paper, but I just want to say thank you to Public Works for Lock Haven getting fixed. It's wonderful. It is very smooth. K&E knows what they're doing, and they did a great job. So I just wanted to throw that out there. That was all. Thank you.
Did you like, they actually put bikes in the street signs when they were doing their work?
I don't recall. I really didn't leave my house much, so I just know it was done in a day. So
Yeah.
it's possible. I know some of the signs got broken down, but it was very safe and very well done.
Good, thanks, Dan. Okay, then we will move on to our active items on our project spreadsheet. I don't think there'll be much change from last month. We're still waiting for funds for the green paint. And, if I recall, that will be another request this year to the budget committee. Our pedestrian flag program is, I don't know, now that we don't have Brenda giving us the update, has there been any reactions on with the QR code or anything?
No, I haven't looked at that survey, but I can tell you that tonight, we need to make a motion to recommend to council if you want the full pedestrian flag program.
Okay, is that on here, or we'll just do that right now?
It's on the agenda.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, we will do that shortly. Let's see, so speeding in residential areas. Let's see, on our last meeting, Council President, or President Starr shared that the council directed staff to gather more info and community input via an upcoming survey. Where are we on getting that survey moving?
Chair de Blasi, there is a draft of the survey that was handed out at the Community Diversity Engagement Committee a week ago, and that is slated for a work session. The work session schedule has been shuffled around a bit, so I'm not sure if it is next Monday or the second Monday in February for discussion.
Okay. Would you be able to send that out to tell us when that is? Okay, great.
Could we also see a draft of the survey? Thank you.
Yes, I'll send it to you.
Did the committee, I can't remember, diversity engagement, what is it called again?
The engagement survey?
Yes.
Community engagement.
Yeah,
There was not an action on it, I don't believe, Dawn. I don't recall there being an action on it. I think it's going through the work session first, but
Okay.
there were some questions that committee had asked for, that they wanted them to have a chance to look over.
Okay.
So it has to go through the work session process first.
okay. And one other thing, the questions that were brought up that we'll be seeing, who were the original drafters of those questions? Do you remember?
I was not part of that process, but I know that City Manager Brown worked on that, and then they're contracting with an actual company that specializes in doing these community engagement surveys. And then I think he met with, and I might be getting some of the projects mixed up, so just know, but I believe there were a couple of subject matter experts that were consulted on the questions as well.
Okay, thank you.
When we get that information as to the potential work sessions and the draft questions, could we also have information either on how, if we have suggested changes, we should submit those so they can be considered, or who we should call or contact if we want to make, in other words, if that's unclear, who we should contact to kind of find out that information?
That'll be an opportunity at the work session.
Oh, we will be able to,
It should be up for discussion at the work session, yeah.
okay.
Okay, thank you. Well, that answers it then.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. And the last one, it's creating a list of streets to ask for funding. Hirsch was, and David, you were tasked with that.
Yes. We haven't scheduled anything because it's been holidays and busy work with Officer Powell.
Okay.
And so I'll send you an email this week if that's okay. Sure. Okay.
Do you foresee a meeting before the next our
Oh,
next
yeah.
meeting? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Before the February meeting you're talking about.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
okay. Yeah,
All right. Thank you.
I'm sure we could work something out.
Okay, well, that's it for active items, unless I missed a page. So new other business, making the recommendation to city council to support or not support a pedestrian flag program. So, I guess we would need a motion, of either way. We can have some discussion first to, correct? Is that, okay.
One of the things we didn't discuss on the list was the pedestrian flag program at Kaiser Road and Noreen. And I didn't know if Tammy or if there was information on that, which to me would be relevant in terms of the overall program, how it was working.
Okay.
Tammy Kunz, Greater Northeast Kaiser Neighborhood Association. Well, we have received about 25 responses that are in favor of keeping it. I did just make a bunch of phone calls today when I noticed it was up for a vote. I got a hold of 52 people who would really like to keep it on there if at all possible. I see families using it all the time, no matter what time of day or night it is, and it has made a significant difference.
And just so it's on the record, were there anybody that said we don't
I
like it?
didn't have anybody say they didn't like it.
Okay.
And we've only replaced one flag, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry. What mechanism are you using to capture those results? Because I believe Brenda was using SurveyMonkey, Brenda? Or that you had the responses, the 4 responses. It was a QR code and it went.
The city, and it's on her flags as well.
Okay, so it's the same mechanism that Brenda's using?
They usually
Okay.
just email me and let me know, and today when I reached out, I just went down my list and started calling folks to see how they liked it, if they wanted to keep it, if it was a waste of time, and I didn't get anybody to tell me it was a waste of time.
So Brenda got 4 responses from the QR code. Has anybody responded on yours using the QR code?
I don't think I get those. Brenda, does that go to Dawn? It goes to Dawn. Doesn't come to me.
Okay.
I don't recall there being anything negative on those responses.
But are they coming in to that? Because I think
Yes.
all I've ever seen in the packets are the the ones from the Shamawa at the Kaiser
The
Rapids.
West Kaiser
I haven't
one.
seen any responses from the one on Noreen.
Yeah,
I don't know that I,
recall the locations. Brenda, do you recall seeing that location?
Tammy just said that when you guys changed the city, that QR code might have got. I just asked
Oh,
if
the
you tested.
website, yes.
So we should retest the QR
Yes.
code.
Yeah.
And then can you, Tammy, recommend that whoever is in favor of this to just scan it if possible and get their feedback? This way it's on record and we can continue to submit.
Perfect.
And I'll just repeat that in case.
Yeah, thank you.
So, it was that there's a potential that the QR code may not be working because of a website update. And we don't know for sure, at least right now, if any have come in for Kaiser Road, but the recommendation is to get those people who do use it and do like it to use that QR code.
yep. And then I can send you the notes from my calls today, probably tomorrow.
Yes, David?
Mike, do you have how's this program working from your perspective?
I haven't received any complaints. I haven't received any positive or any against, but no, haven't heard much except from people here that have talked about it and everyone that thinks it's a great deal and it's used a lot. More so I've heard the ones on Shamawa by Kaiser Rapids Park. Not too much on Kaiser Road, but I'm glad to hear responses that came back well. I was curious how that would go and, how, if the flags would wander off or stay there or whatnot. It seems like it's working good.
Let me just say, would it be possible to get at least the email responses to Dawn?
Yep.
So the city can have that on the record? Okay.
So I have certain nervousness because I don't have before me what the program is. But I would move that we support recommending making this, moving beyond the pilot program and making it one. I think there are certain locations where it's appropriate, but I think within the program, it requires review of Public Works, and that, at least in terms of the pilot locations, there was a lot of thought as to where it was appropriate and not appropriate. I also, having recently been doing significant walking at Kaiser Rapids from 3:30 to 5 and leaving the park at 5, have actually almost intentionally looked at the flags as I left a little after 5 in the dark, and they really don't show up. So the comment that was made that if people are looking for safe crossings in the dark, something other than the flags are needed. But I think during the daytime, I think it's a very good program, and I would move that we recommend supporting the program.
Hirsch, you had something?
I have kind of a comment. I'm not an overt advocate for the program because other cities have used it and have been a dismal failure. However, with Kaiser and my own neighborhood association has supported the one by the park. If I would be supportive of it, if it stays with the criteria that's been established by Public Works on where it can be placed, how it's done, and that the costs remain at the same level. Now, if there's more costs, and now we're going to expand to faster streets, more areas, I think the risk the city is going to incur is going to be significant. The one at Chamawa and the park is working well. And that was well thought out. But one of the things that ODOT has mentioned on these programs is most motorists don't know what the flags are for. And without an educational program for the users, and we're talking about motorists and everything, it may be some difficulty if we have them all over. But if there are specific places, and as my neighborhood association is very supportive of the one there, but if we start moving them around, I'm concerned that we're going to put it in a faster speed area, a higher traffic area, areas that aren't serving schools or parks. So, and one of the criteria that was Public Works is there has to be an already established crosswalk. And I'm for all that. But if we expand it, I'm worried.
I would say I agree with you on we're not wanting to put it on a very high speed, or a higher speed or a higher trafficked road. Whether it be on a already marked crosswalk.
Well, that's in the criteria right
Yeah,
now.
cause I'm thinking like, we talk about, the park right here. Off of Dearborn, the crossing there. Thank you. It's to my knowledge, and I could be wrong, other than by Verda, are there any marked crossings?
Not at this time.
Right. It's a 25-mile-an-hour road.
Mm-hmm.
It's a park that's getting used, but no established crosswalks with striped. Would
Correct.
would you be concerned about a crossing?
Yes, I would be.
Is that because of the volume of traffic?
There's a
And,
volume.
and speeding,
Yeah.
if people do speed on the street?
And even though it's 25, there is a volume.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if the city decides to put in a crosswalk, especially as we develop the boardwalk area, then yeah, I'd be supportive, but just, I think the crosswalk adds that level of liability coverage. Especially when I do not believe that everybody in this town and Salem knows what that red flag is for.
Well, that's one thing I was thinking, we were talking about being in the dark. Do they sell flags that have some reflectivity to them too?
Of course.
So that would be a bonus to have that.
But that would be, again, another budget item.
Yeah, but I don't know the difference.
Chair DeBoschee, can you refresh my memory? Once it goes from pilot, if it goes from pilot, who, is the community sponsoring different areas, or are we, the city, taking over and
No. So that's what brought me up here, is the city is not funding beyond the pilot. So that is not a factor. And if we want to add criteria or work with this as we progress, that's always doable. But I just want to point out one thing we're failing to discuss here is the fact that people are crossing the road already. So we're just trying to give them a tool to help them cross. So Hirsch, I respect what you're saying there, but we're not adding anything that has to be taught because you're simply making yourself more visible because you're carrying something that can be seen more easily than a person who's going to cross the road regardless.
Well, and crossing guards for schools already have flags out. So drivers seem used to that idea, so it's not a leap or a jump to say that they wouldn't get used to flags at crosswalks elsewhere.
Yeah, I think it's more of the fact whether they even see it.
I think the flags do two things. We've talked about increasing visibility, but they also communicate intent. They are communicating to the driver that I'm a pedestrian and I want to cross the street. And particularly in some of those locations, we don't necessarily have a curb from a sidewalk or something. So anyway, I think communicating that intent, because the driver, at least and this is not a place for those signs, but drivers at, say, Lock Haven and Verda at that T, they tend to not stop for a pedestrian that wants to cross the street. And you could claim it's because it's ambiguous whether the pedestrian wants to cross the street or not, but I think the flags do help in terms of communicating intent.
But at that location, it would never be approved anyway.
That,
So I don't want- I don't want it- yeah, okay.
I didn't,
Just wanna
yeah,
make
that
sure that
probably
we're
muddied
aware.
the water. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
So let me
a
ask
good
this
example, but
then,
no.
in this motion, because I don't recall. So you said that the pedestrian flag pilot program has been not city funded,
The pilot was,
city funded.
yes,
But beyond that would not be,
correct.
period, $0 stop.
That's
right?
what,
Okay.
yes.
So if we were to make a recommendation to city council to support it, are we saying support it financially?
No, just as a concept.
Okay. And then any expansion beyond all the check boxes would then also have to have a sponsor, right? A local sponsor would be, whether it be a neighborhood association, a school perhaps, I don't know. But the church, somebody would have to still be the impetus to put that there, right?
Correct. Somebody is responsible for those flags.
Right.
And then at any point in time, Public Works or else in the city can decide this is not working and revoke that permit, so to speak.
Right.
What has been the cost per crosswalk for the flags?
Brenda, do you have those numbers? She's the numbers person, I'm not.
Wait, aren't you an engineer?
I'm sorry, I did not bring exactly what the costs were tonight, but I brought, I could go through my calendar. So what I reported to my neighborhood association is that the crossing at Chamawa is losing about a flag and a half a month. So our association and Hirsch's association would be deciding whether or not we want to fund replacing those flags now the pilot program is ended. So at that point, I believe it'll be like $8 a month for each of us, guessing, because I forgot what the flags cost, I'm sorry. So I'm gonna guess high, because I
Right.
don't think they're that expensive. Or we can even, and if that's a problem, then our neighborhoods can look into someone to make flags that are legal, but they're kind of cheap, so.
Counselor.
Thank you, Chair Blasey. I'm going to kind of build on the questions that you were asking about the pilot project. And can you refresh our memories about why, if it goes from not being city supported in the pilot it goes from being city supported in the pilot to not being city supported after the pilot period is over. Can you refresh my memory why it was that it needed to come back before the council for approval? Because we never approved the pilot project.
I'm not, I don't know about that part, because we worked with Adam Brown. So
Right.
I-
That's why I'm just curious
So
what that
I thought-
conversation
I
was.
think, I'm guessing, because I'm trying to remember. I thought so we had Kathy, the mayor here, and she verified that it came from funds that were within Adam's budget. So that's
Right.
why I didn't go to the council first.
Okay.
So it was in his budget to run this pilot, so that we could see if the city of Kaiser likes using flags.
But then we're taking on the I think that's the question that I'm trying to understand is, are we taking on the liability of that? If it's not being city funded or sponsored after the pilot is over? I think that's the
So-
clarification, trying to understand what those original conversations were to now.
I'm not sure if I can answer directly, so if I
Okay.
answer the wrong question, I'm sorry.
No worries.
When we set this up originally, it was to see if you wanted, so in Portland, they do not have a flag pilot program. So no one gets to tell them no, and they can put the flags anywhere they want, and there's no law against it. But by having our program, we get to have Public Works verify it's a safe place.
Got
And we
it.
have it within our legal rights to remove the flags or ask them to be removed.
And when you say our legal
Ours,
rights,
the
means the
city-
cities. Got
city
it.
of
Okay,
Kaiser.
that was where I was trying to
So
understand.
by making it a City of Kaiser flag program, you give the council or Public Works specifically oversight as to whether or not it's
got it.
working and whether or not it can stay
Perfect.
there.
Thank you.
So that's why I wanted it.
Trying to tease that out.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
thank you.
Yeah.
Just as a little side note, and I'm saying this not in that I hope this happens, but is there a liability cap for the city in general?
That is going to be a Mr. Brown and a Mr. Joe Lindsay question. I don't even want to pretend to know what that
Okay.
insurance policy reads or anything like that. So
I assume I'm gonna have to request their time to get that number to us, because I would like to know, because I've heard 'em many times, the risk and the liability, and I just would like to know
yeah.
where that is, or
The
what level.
state has a liability limit, but cities generally don't. And it also depends on whether it's an adult or a child.
So are you saying they generally don't, but they could? So like, just depends on their insurance policy, or what is that?
Yes.
I think, Mr. Chair, what will happen is you will take the vote on referring it to council. And then at that point, council will make a decision about whether or not to direct staff to bring a recommendation back. So we're still a ways out because because it is, Multimodal is making the recommendation to move it to council, doesn't mean that we're gonna make a decision then. What the decision, whether or not we'll move or not on it, but it will be whether to direct staff to bring a recommendation back to council. And that'll include conversation with, legal and the insurance company, risk management, the police, Public Works, all of that, so. That's, just so you know,
No, that's-
that'll
thank
come
you.
back probably in that staff report.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's great to know. So let me ask this then. If the city, let's just say we make the recommendation, you recommend to staff says, okay with these, conditions, sideboards. But the city would still not be the ones financially responsible for maintaining the number of flags out there. Does that absolve the city at all for anything?
I can't answer that because I'm not the city attorney and I'm not the risk manager or the insurance company. So those are all questions that would come back as part of the recommendation. And I would probably venture as well that they would ask for a work session to have the conversation and know what other information there might need to be. I'm not the scheduler of that, but that would be my guess is they may want to schedule a work session because that's a lot of a lot of questions and a lot of information,
Yeah.
that we can predict they might come back in the staff report, but that's just kind of
Sure.
my thinking.
So in the interim, if we made the recommendation and we're waiting for all these gears to turn, the program can still keep going, right? It's not like we have this deadline that something has.
That's not a decision that I can make.
That'd be.
That could be a decision that is like an interim decision, that could be made at council, or it could be made at the recommendation of staff. Like, this is one of those issues that I think, there's a lot of questions and ifs and if-thens and then whats and so forth that we could try to predict here. But I don't think it's fair to try and make that prediction of what might happen or could happen. I think it really needs to be a conversation and recommendation that comes back from staff.
I just wasn't sure if there was a sunset on the pilot. If
That
there had been
is
set a sunset.
probably going to be a staff recommendation or a staff decision, so.
Okay. So it hadn't been built into the pilot.
No, the pilot had this is how long we're going to collect data. And then I asked the various neighborhoods their neighborhood association, our neighborhood association, I was curious if we wanted to take them out for winter. They're like, no, actually, they're even busier now than they were in the summer, which surprised me. So I left them there.
Okay. Well, so I would make a motion to support making the recommendation to council to recommend city staff to make a recommendation. Is that? I know. Okay, a motion that the multimodal committee makes a recommendation to city council that they direct staff to develop a recommendation whether to continue the program, the pedestrian flag program. Did I get that right?
No.
She says I got it right.
A recommendation to make a
A
recommendation.
recommendation to city council to direct city staff to develop a
The program.
recommendation for the program.
Not a recommendation, but to,
I think his motion was fair, Mr. Dempster.
okay, it's a recommendation.
It's a recommendation to make a recommendation, yeah.
We're wanting staff through city council to do an analysis of the program.
Correct. So,
Okay.
I think if you wanted to be exactly literal about, it would be, Ms. Chair Blasey, you would be making a motion to, that this committee sends this issue to city council for consideration, and asking them to direct staff to bring a recommendation back. So your original motion was fair. Mine doesn't really tighten it up very much, but that would be, you're taking out that first recommendation where that's it.
okay.
So if that meets what Mr. Dempster was looking for,
Now, you'll be at city council, obviously.
are you looking at me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Laszlo will be there.
Our discussion here is very good. The analysis of the risks, the monies, all that. If another entity takes over it, like, I'll just pick on the Rotary Club, their liability insurance might have to apply.
Might have to, I'm sorry.
Might have to apply to the program, their liability insurance. But all those questions, neither one of us can answer. But our risk and attorneys can answer that, and the insurance.
Yeah.
I'll second your
Okay, so
motion.
Dawn, did you get it as,
No, I got all of it except for the last part that Council President Starr said. She said to send it to the city council for consideration for,
Basically, moving this topic to city council, and their determination on whether or not they want to have staff bring back a recommendation. Because it moves from here to council, and council makes the decision on what they're gonna direct, whether or not they're gonna direct staff to bring it back to council. That's the process.
Okay.
Okay, and in addition to that, I feel like this committee needs to clearly indicate if you're supportive or not supportive.
That was Mr. Blasie's first word
Yeah.
that he had in his motion, which was this committee recommends. But there was some discussion that it wasn't a clear or appropriate motion, so we were trying to tighten it up.
Yeah. So, it could be that we support sending this to city council.
Do you want two motions, Dawn? Is that going to clear it up? Would that be clear to do, this committee decides whether or not they want to support, they support this program, that's motion number one. And then motion number two, then they could take that support recommendation and move it to city council. So you want two motions?
No, we can combine them.
Okay.
Okay.
Then
So-
Mr. de Blasie's motion originally was appropriate.
Could you read that back?
Okay, so, just his motion, so Chair made a motion to support recommendation to council to recommend staff, wait a second.
I would say to direct staff to.
I think it is more clear if we separate the two. And essentially, my motion was in support of the program. And then
And then you
the
do a
next
second
step
motion.
would be to recommend sending it to council for their consideration and review.
And I'm fine, I'm paid the same amount either. So, okay, so the first motion will be to support the pedestrian flag program. That's the motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of the Multimodal Safety Committee supporting the pedestrian flag program, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
I'm concerned, but I voted for it because my neighborhood association's very much in support of it.
Okay, so that's a yes?
Yes.
Okay. Any abstentions? Okay, so that motion passes. Okay, second motion. To send this recommendation to council to direct staff to make a recommendation on continuing the program.
And I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Do I need to slow down a little bit for you, Dawn, or you got it? You probably type way faster than I do.
Well, I'm not sure about taking the first motion, because when it's repeated, I should be taking the first motion, and it wasn't exact, so I think I'm just gonna go back and use the very first motion. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I think I'm good.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any abstention?
I'm voting aye for it. I just want to give my comments that I feel more comfortable with it being analyzed further by staff, looking at both the insurance and all that before moving ahead. So I like this motion more than the first one.
Okay. All right. Okay, so no no's? Any abstentions? All right, motion passes.
Chair de Blasie, I think the earliest that it would come before council would be that first Monday in February, depending on what they already have scheduled for the agenda.
Okay. Probably wouldn't be able to crystal ball how long it would take to get anything back from staff though, right?
No, because you're also entering into budget. And you have a couple things, I would call it the perfect series of events coming. You have the retirement of our Public Works Director.
Yes.
And an onboarding of our new Public Works Director. And then you are entering into budget season. So no crystal ball. I would not buy a lottery ticket to bet on.
that's fair.
How fast it will come back.
All right, well, thank you for that. Okay, moving on. So this is kind of tying in with what we've already heard. The updated pedestrian road crossing list with input from the neighborhood associations. If I recall, Ms. Navarro, you had something on that?
I did. So beforehand, this goes back to October. I was sending emails to Public Works and Ben Crosby about the crosswalk of Alder and Pleasant View with pictures, because the crosswalk is very weird because it has a fire hydrant and it leads right into like a drainage ditch with a stop sign. I don't know if, I sent the picture, you got CC'd in the email, like at some point, yeah.
Yeah, we ended up taking care of the east side with the fire hydrant.
The fire hydrant,
and
because it ended up getting.
We paved that whole section so it's easy to cross. And then on the opposite side with the stop sign, and we have the drainage ditch right there, the gentleman puts his trash receptacles there. And it is a weird spot how it lines up. Those need to not be there. They need to be picked up because as the kids cross, it's just a quick jaunt to get out of the way and onto where they need to go. But it's the trash cans that are holding things up because I don't want to fill in that drainage ditch. So we need to reach out to him. I need to talk to Ben Crosby or the new, actually, code enforcement person coming up and see what they can do about that, because there's not much to do with how tight that is and the situation right there, but, so.
And it's just like an awkward, I guess it's like an awkward crosswalk. And maybe it's just something that's been overseen for 20 plus years, because the schools have been there for, for many years. And it's maybe now that I'm just walking my kindergartner to school that I'm just like, maybe that crosswalk should not lead into a stop sign. And that other crosswalk that just recently got hit and now.
Well, it's out of the way of the cars stopping, but if the gentleman moves the trash cans, or as a homeowner, someone needs to talk to him, because if those are out of the way, it is a quick, safe way to get by there.
But the kids can't walk either, because as they're walking, you have to look at the picture. The kids can't walk because they can't get to the sidewalk. They can't get to the sidewalk at all, if you look at the picture. And I've emailed you the picture, so, the crosswalk leads into the ditch. The crosswalk does not lead to nowhere.
No, it goes right to a partial bike lane that then you turn and go right into a driveway that goes to a sidewalk. And so there is a pretty easy access to get to the sidewalk from, and I don't need to see the picture because I've been there and I've seen it.
So just to be clear, is your concern about the way everything's laid out, or would you want an actual crossing
The concern is how everything was laid out. Like I said, I've emailed, nothing really didn't get fixed until literally someone hit the fire hydrant and then half of something got fixed. And then now it's kind of like crickets, because only half of it got fixed until someone hit a fire hydrant.
So just so you know, the fire hydrant being hit didn't have any correlation to when we have a workload of things going on, and that was on the docket to repair that side. The fire hydrant was just a coincidence that got hit, and then we tag teamed with the water department, and they needed asphalt around it, so it just worked in our favor to get them both done at the same time. But we weren't waiting for the hydrant to get hit to
I
take
mean-
care of that.
But at least someone could have said something like, hey, we're gonna get it fixed, or hey, you know, it's going to get fixed. But in the emails,
And I apologize, I thought somebody reached out to you and said that
no one
we'd be
reached out.
looking
The
at it.
only one that was ever reaching out was Ben.
Just a question, and I'm not all that familiar with this particular intersection. Would it be a place where additional paint or striping or something that would direct the kids in the proper, to find the sidewalk or something, would that help or not?
I mean, yes, possibly. I mean, it's just, Alder's just a very
Busy.
it's a busy street.
It's very busy and a kind
It's
of
a
an awkward
very-
intersection too.
Yes.
Okay, so, so that is on the list of what I created of what possible places to have, a more robust crossing there. So, if you could, have you talked to neighbors, the schools, anybody that has agreed with you for this concern? And if you have,
And I go to the neighborhood associations. I mean,
yeah, could the neighborhood association send us something of their concern and recommendation?
I will talk to Colleen about it.
Okay, thank you.
I was gonna say, can you get your contact information to Dawn? Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay. So we've had a few conversations tonight about these, the list for the pedestrian road crossings. Any comments, thoughts about what we've heard?
Oh, I'm just going to, if it's okay to talk about my neighborhood association and the recommendations.
Yeah, yeah.
The one priority one that we are looking at is Lock Haven at Windsor Island Road. And that actually, and I included in our packet, a Safe Routes to School evaluation in 2020 that actually recommended that one. And with the new significant development, a house and apartment in that area, the number of kids walking in Windsor Island clearly is 35 miles an hour through there. We have Kaiser Elementary, and that's their safe routes to school. So we're wanting a double crosswalk,
From,
Windsor Island to Lock Haven.
A double, when you say double, what does that mean?
Well, at least on one,
which ones?
would be, what did I say here? East to west.
Okay.
Because right now,
Which side?
both sides. Right now, there is no sidewalks on the east side of Windsor Island Road.
Right.
Now, as we get to that Windsor Island Road project, which might be 20 years from now, there is plans for, the sidewalks, but that's down the road. But right now, we have a ton of new housing at the end of Trent, and as well as apartments. On Windsor Island, there is a school crossing back down towards Willow Lake with flashing lights. And that was put in because of the apartments that are now 40 years old. And now we have more apartments and development down the other. And I've also heard that where the Filbert Orchard is across from the log house is for sale.
I haven't heard that.
So there's even more development. So that one is our priority, and it even follows the Safe Routes to School recommendation by the school district. No, there are no crosswalks
So
at
it
all.
needs three of them, doesn't it?
It would be nice to have three.
Well, I mean, because if you're
Yeah.
on this side, you know.
Yeah,
What we also want as a neighborhood association is a three-way stop there with crosswalks
that's right, there's no three ways.
because of the heavy truck traffic.
Right,
We have heavy trucks coming through from, not only from, the gravel pit towards, out Windsor Island, but off Willow Lake too.
right,
Now, they're not going fast, but they're
they're still there.
there.
Yeah.
Where
And
does that turn to 25, Windsor Island Road turn to 25 miles an hour?
Windsor
Before
Island,
Chemawa?
no, it's 35 up to Chemawa.
Okay, that's where it changes.
Yeah, yeah, so, well, that's our highly recommended, one, of all the ones, if we want to get, that would improve, help everybody.
Doesn't it go up to 45 at some point?
Yeah, well, once it hits the county,
Yeah.
Yeah,
then goes 45,
Yeah.
and then 55.
right. And counselor, now counselor, and once and current counselor, sorry. Who, you know who I'm talking about. She came to talk that one night.
Yeah,
Why am I blanking on?
Parsons?
Thank you. I was like,
yeah,
Parsons, yes, she came and talked one night.
and she clearly wants, and she's part of the neighborhood, so,
Right.
so. The other one that we, had a discussion with, and we even talked with the, Kevin Dial at the rec, which is part of our neighborhood association, another crosswalk across Chemawa at Elizabeth. Because they have seen a lot of kids going back and forth from Elizabeth on the south side because of both the bus and school bus stop and the food carts.
Yeah, and I was not aware of that when I was making my list, so.
Well, this was, again, like the other neighborhood association, other members brought it up and said, hey, check this out. And we also talked with Kevin, and he said, yeah, I see kids jaywalking across there. And he said, it's really bad when they're, the buses are picking them up right there. It's right there where the utility boxes are. And the kids are walking across the street. And
Yeah.
so that was our suggestions.
Okay.
But again, the biggest one is the Lock Haven one.
Right.
And that was even supported by the school district at one time.
And then we have, the recommendation from Southeast Kaiser Neighborhood Association of Alder at BB. We've heard the West Kaisers, and then I think, other than what you and I wrote, did anyone else have any other thoughts about the rest of the list?
Yeah.
David?
Well, I did have one, is that I was trying to look up the city bus, I couldn't remember where the bus stops were. But the bus stops at Plymouth, well, basically at Plymouth. And there's no bus stop. Hollyhock's right and River Road's right in between. So like 4 blocks either way to the next bus stop. What I was concerned about is that if we're looking at pedestrian traffic and buses, the fact that there's a bus stop there would give it an extra incentive to have crosswalk there. There's that. The other comment I had was regarding, Country Glen. Who lived you lived there? Okay. I've been on the committee a long time. That's come up 2 or 3 at least times.
I was here, I think, a year ago, asking about it
Yeah.
at that exact intersection because it's,
And I thought, but it probably doesn't make any difference now. We had we'd done a traffic survey, a number of cars coming out of Country Glen. But that was so long ago, it probably doesn't.
that was the first time I came and asked, when they did the traffic study. And that was before all of the apartments
Yeah.
were built out there and the egress and issues coming out of there. I don't believe there's been one done since.
No.
And that was,
I live up Park Meadow, and so I go down there, but I really have seen there may be just offhand. I can't recall seeing any pedestrians there. I'm sure there must be crossing River Road, nor bicycles
I'll see families crossing, young moms with their kids going
to the park.
because the playground at, what is the name of that park?
Meadows Park, Meadows Park, yeah.
The structure is really nice
Yes.
there, and it's
Yeah.
a desirable structure and a desirable park. So you'll have young families crossing that.
Okay,
And
I just,
And they have to cross because the sidewalk ends.
right.
Question related, is Country Glen within the Clear Lake School?
we're Gupser.
Gupser,
So you're
okay.
the other,
You're the
so
other
you can
way.
walk to Gupser. I mean, if
Yeah.
you wanted to, but,
I tell my kids they can walk to Gupser,
Yeah.
yeah.
What I was thinking about is, I'm always thinking of safe routes to school funding. That's why I think the one, ours in the West Kaiser might,
more important.
might get funding. But if we can, again, tie it to a school, tie it to a park, there might be funding.
If I remember right, River Road is the deciding line on whether the kids go to Clear Lake or they
Yeah.
go to Gupser.
Yeah, the school district does change the boundaries every so often, so.
And Country Glen's the last street in Kaiser, correct? To the north.
Last right-hand turn. Last right-hand turn on River
Yeah.
Well, it's the
Road.
last, isn't that the city limits right to the other side of
Perkins.
Country
I
Glen?
think just past.
It's a
Oh,
little
those are
further
Perkins?
north.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
David, did you have something?
I wanted to ask Mike,
All the way, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mike, we're, with the increased density and things in Kaiser, we're clearly hearing a lot of concerns about pedestrian safety and the need for safer crossing of streets. And I certainly would put my oar in for Lock Haven and Berta. These are all places that have schools, bus stops, heavy traffic, and currently no provisions for pedestrian crossings. How much is Public Works putting in its budget for pedestrian improvements in the coming year?
Well, under streets, we take that budget and that gets facilitated through a lot of different things, and a big bulk of that is resurfacing. So the resurfacing of our streets and then taking on the ADA ramps that come along with that. As things come up and recommendations are made and they go to council, things move up. So if we have a list of items, whether it be flashy beacons or what they are, but I recommend you guys pick your top priority ones, go from there, bring it to council, and then when you ask me how much money is there, there's we have the money, and then that money just gets allocated to the greatest need, whether it be repairs, if I'll switch over to stormwater, repair a failing stormwater line, or a vehicle purchase. How does that move up? So we just have to look across and fit things in as we can. So that money would be taken away, it'd be less streets being paid, so to say. So it's under capital improvement, and we make it work as we can, or have to budget for it over certain budget cycles and then get to where we want to be able to accomplish that.
Well, I think, if I understand David's question correctly, and I think this ties into what the work Hirsch and David will be doing with Officer Powell, where it becomes, yes, we are a conduit for information from the public as well as our own feelings on things to direct to council, who directs, and then the budget and all that. But is there a process in Public Works when you all are thinking of your budget for the year or how you want to spend your budget? Is there a list that you all know of, hey, there's a problem here that could be fixed? We should see if we can get funding for it this year.
So to answer that question, when we see problems, we fix them right away or as quickly as we can. When I look at the budget overall, when it comes to streets, that money I'm looking at to take care of our streets that are failing, that we need to get on the list now before they're worse and become gravel roads. I know that's sounds a little much, but I mean, really, I've been here a while and I felt like we were doing pretty good. And I'm looking now and it's just like, we're playing catch up and it's just and that happens when other things come in and we use that money and that allocates a certain amount, goes over here to do this. And these are the projects that you're asking about. So,
Yeah.
and the way they've come up is through this committee.
But, and I get
So-
that, there's a curve of decay on a road that you want to get to before you get to a certain point, because then the costs go dramatically bigger. I just was hoping that at least in your back pocket or something, that you all would have ideas of pedestrian safety items or a sidewalk or other than just having us bring it to you, if you all, but it sounds like you.
No, Mike, but they
don't-
get incorporated with projects that we do as part of those projects. So it's in the forefront as part of that project. So that's lumped together with what we're doing. It's just, you're seeing it.
How much did these conversations or these suggestions and these projects, Mike, will they play in the upcoming TSP?
In the,
I think isn't there, and I didn't bring when we were at the agenda planning meeting on Tuesday, they're talking about they're giving an update on the scenario planning
for the
at the Monday meeting, but,
for the 5-year plan?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so how much does this play, like these conversations, when it comes time to do the update to the TSP, how does that play into it?
That I'm not sure. I know
Okay.
we were delegated to do a 5-year plan for stormwater, and what we figured out, what areas we wanted to take care of and how much money a year would be
Okay.
allotted to that, and then we did the same for the street side of it, and how much, each year to resurface. But as far as the transportation system plan,
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't
Okay.
play a huge part in that.
I'm gonna make a note to ask that question, thank you.
Okay.
So if I understand this correctly, you have a plan for resurfacing, but nothing for pedestrian safety improvements?
And stormwater, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like the plan is is a maintenance and operational plan, right? That's how you plan.
Yeah, and to better our city, and then
Yeah, right.
as Councilor Starr was saying, with a TSP plan, there are certain items in there, you'll talk about Verda and Lock Haven, and there's plans for that, there's big plans, if you look in there, what's gonna happen and all that, that's a huge improvement, so when you look at that, there's a huge amount of money that's gonna be put towards that, or you look at River Road and Manzanita and McNary Estates, there's a talk about realigning that, and what's that gonna look like, so when we're looking at projects like that, we're definitely looking into safety and we're looking at the ways to make it the best we can. And that's that money you're kind of asking about is
Yeah.
going towards projects like that.
Okay. Well, I think we were working our way down the dais here of people's, David, did you have any more comments about the list?
No, it's just, we can't, we shouldn't keep it narrow. I mean, it's gotta be a small list.
Yeah, I guess the way I see it is it's a list and you just keep crossing it off. But prioritization might be the key. Hirsch?
The school district thought Windsor Island, in the list of their priorities all over was number 2.
Okay.
And so that's way up there. And I think, we might be able to get safe routes to school monies, possibly. You never know. Yeah, but it's one I think we should keep on the list. Now, this committee worked really hard with Public Works, who got an engineering study, because I was personally pushing for a crossing at McNary, at Lock Haven, pretty close to Celtic Way. And the study came out that, no, the better one was to be at McClure. And we got the lights and everything at McClure. So, that study was what, 3 years ago?
Longer than that.
A little longer.
No, maybe.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. I'm not sure that one we could ever get.
What do you mean?
I see on here Lock Haven and Celtic Way.
Oh, yeah, yeah. The thing
Because-
about Lock Haven is, while I get the two schools are closer and they're on the west end of Lock Haven.
And we had the support of Eric Jesperson, the principal at the time, and
Right,
everything.
right.
And the PTC and the engineer studies showed the numbers weren't there.
Right. Well, the numbers of pedestrians.
Yeah.
I think that's changing as we get more schools or apartments coming in.
You may have so
yeah.
I'm just saying, maybe we put that one farther down. I'm not thinking about taking it off.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think, so I think as everyone says their piece tonight, I need to create a poll like I did the last time. And I would like everyone to think of their top 5, not just the 1 or 2. That way we have more data points to collect and rank things.
And that would help in David's and my discussion with Officer Howell too.
Yeah.
We could zero in on some streets and stuff that might have data.
Well, there's that, yeah, I would like the city's, police department and public works data to go into some decisions too, but, Trevor, do you have any thoughts, any of these on the list that, you felt strongly about, or you are nonplussed about?
I just want to say that the conversation's good, discussion's good, and just to be able to get more data for those areas. I agree with you that the data is going to tell us where we need to focus in on.
Okay. Matt? David?
I think we did.
Thank you, Chair DeBlasi. Where is the input? I see southeast, west, northwest, Kaiser. I don't see greater northeast on here, listed on here, and I don't see Gubser.
Do you want
I didn't receive a response. I sent the email out twice
To both of them?
to all of the associations.
Okay.
A lot of hours are already on.
Okay.
okay, I think one thing we'd like though is your top ones, if you can share that with us. Yes.
So I wasn't able to make the Greater Gupser Neighborhood Association meeting this month, but I reached out to Patty this morning. She emailed back, trail around Harmony and trail around, this Manzanita.
Oh, I die at that one, almost die at that one every morning.
Yep.
Yep.
And somewhere along 14th during soccer season, that street gets insanely packed, and having a safe crossing for the players and the parents after games, when they're done would.
Well, I mean, I was gonna talk about not exactly that specific thing, but I brought this up to Bill, I don't know, 3 years ago or so. The sideway up into Whitaker is city-owned, and it's a muddy mess in the winter, and people slip. It's hard for people who are going to soccer, who are either having wagons, or, I know there's another way in, but not everyone knows that, or, everyone wants to do A to B quicker. Or, they've got their baby carriages or something. So it would be nice to have a combination of, I know we've got a stop sign there, but some people, that's a suggestion, not an actual thing to follow. So a more obvious crossing with a better route up into campus, I think would be good to add to the list.
My daughter goes to orchestra every day at Whitaker now. I see a lot of kids coming out at that area, either crossing right there at 14th and Manzanita, or is it Mandarin?
Mandarin.
Mandarin.
14th and Mandarin, high traffic area.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I almost died at that one too, crossing. It's bad.
Well, and not only is it with the soccer, but during the school year, you've got parents who are either going up to the camp to Gubser or coming back from Gubser. So, and you know, especially in the morning, you've got I gotta drop my kids off to school so I can get to work mentality. And so we could add that to, so that'd be 14th at Mandarin. What else did you said trail at Harmony?
Is that Harmony that turns by the
new apartments.
Church of Latter-day Saints down there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
it was also mentioned trail in Manzanita.
Manzanita.
Yeah.
I think there may not be a bus stop near there, but it's pretty darn close.
School bus or the city bus?
School and city. Yeah, there's a city bus stop at Manzanita and Trail, about 100 feet back.
Yeah, it comes down Manzanita.
Okay. Laszlo, do you have any thoughts? You walk around city all day, all the time?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
No. Usually the most I walk is when I get picked up from my dad when I'm walking down Claggett. Through the back exit of the school. And I would say the only problem with that is the crosswalk, the timer goes back really fast. I think it's like 5 seconds, feels like. But that's it. And the work happening on the north side of the school during the entrance,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
morning. Yeah. Gets really packed. Especially with the horrible drivers.
How many of them are teenagers?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But you don't see any protected crossings that you want to get put in?
No, not really. I live on Dearborn, and all the crosswalks already have the flags.
Okay,
Like
Okay.
Dearborn and Verda, I live right near there.
okay. All right, well, thank you. All right, so,
Chair DeBosse, if I can bring up real quick.
Yeah.
Harmony is stemmed for resurfacing this summer. You guys had mentioned Harmony and 14th, and so this is in between Trail and 14th. So, there's a good one to be spending some time. We need to update. There are currently no ramps, on the corner where the Church of Latter-day Saints is, so we'll be upgrading that. And I think across the street from there as well, because it'll coincide with that.
Yeah.
So we're working with the church we have to acquire a little bit of right-of-way right now. So I just started the process on that. I don't know what more we can do there, or if you have any thoughts, but that is a spot that we'd be in.
There's no real sidewalk there either. It's
No, what it's,
continuous bike lane, but
yeah, it'll, from 14th, if you're heading north, it'll continue around with the ADA ramp, and then it'll just dive back into the bike lane, however the engineers are.
I have a comment. It has to do with, I don't know if any of you follow ODOT. One of the, I don't know how long-range proposals they were running, they may change this now, but was to develop the Brooks exit as a major truck
right,
depot.
yeah,
Now, I drive that all the time. My suspicion would be the truck traffic on River Road from Brooks to West Salem, or wherever they're going, is gonna go right down River Road. I don't know if it's even gonna happen, but that's their plan, their
Well-
tentative plan.
The multimodal program Brooks was up for it, but
Right.
it's in Albany.
Oh, they
Millersburg,
moved it?
They moved it to
Oh.
Albany.
which I've heard it's,
Oh, they almost dead.
there's sagebrush blowing through
Yeah.
it. But that's, yeah, so, all right, so unless, we get anything else in the next week or so to Dawn, I'm going to create a poll, send it to you, so you can send it to everyone. And as I said, if you can vote for the top 5, that would help, with just get a better sense of what the priorities are. And then we'll have our list, and I would like to do it like we did last time, where we've got our top ones. The others will stay on the list, it's just, once we get to all the top 5, then we could, come up with the next top 5. So, all right. Moving on, discussion on commercial vehicles blocking pedestrian and biking access. This is mine. So I've noticed, and I've noticed in one specific spot, but maybe it's other places. And this is behind the Ware Mart. There is that cut through that takes you to, I'm blanking on the street's name.
Oh, behind Wearmont,
Behind Ware Mart, there's
right
a,
up Claggett,
In front of the apartments there, behind where Mark.
yeah.
there's
There is a pedestrian and bike.
Gate or
Yeah, there's
something,
like-
a bridge.
I know what you're talking about.
No, it's a little pathway,
Okay,
it's
yeah.
like a sidewalk.
What about it?
Well, aside from liking it to be on the Public Works clean out, schedule, the delivery trucks in the morning, even though it's painted red curb, delivery trucks block it. And yes, it's for a short time, but it is for a time when people are using it. And some trucks are mildly blocking it, and other trucks, you can barely squeeze through to get onto it. And what I would like to see is the city, I don't know, Public Works, City Council, somebody, maybe even Officer Powell, where we could get some type of hash painted thing in front of it that would be more obvious, hey, don't park here. Hirsch?
It's not a bike lane, so the bike rules don't apply. And if it's painted red, it's a fire district issue.
Right. But I don't think
And is it on private property?
it
Well,
is
I
on
would,
private
I
property.
might,
Yeah,
the same thing,
I
I'm
just
pretty
asked.
sure that's whoever, Wearmont probably rents that, but that's private property.
It is private property.
And that somebody was nice enough to put a gate there, or not.
Well, I'm assuming it's the city put that thing in there.
I would,
I don't know, I know if we hear complaints about it, because the leaves build up there and whatnot,
Right.
but it's not something, honestly, Mike, it's on a radar, but not on a radar, so the best way is if you're biking it, like we said in years past, to say,
Yeah.
hey, shoot me an email that says, hey, it's time to blow the leaves there. When it comes to when you come out of there in the backside of Ware Mart and whatnot, I know that's where you're talking about where they're parking, I don't think, that's private property and we don't have any.
But let me ask you this. Well, first of all, I'd like to know who's responsible for the actual little gate, a crossing that connects the Ware Mart parking lot.
I'm gonna say it's the city.
Okay.
And so if there's an issue with the fencing or the sidewalk or whatnot, probably falls on us.
Okay, so if a private citizen was blocking city infrastructure,
Code enforcement.
okay, so if I called code enforcement,
I'll
do
defer to my,
My initial response would be if it's red, it's fire lane, and it'd be Anne Marie down at the fire station, which she's gonna then defer to us, for parking in a designated fire lane, if it's painted fire lane.
it is.
we can
it
see
really-
it,
Okay.
it's all red.
Now, the issue there is the unloading and loading rather than parking.
I mean, you gotta stop your vehicle and keep it there while you're unloading and loading.
Yeah, so,
And there's nobody in the front seat of the car, of the truck.
well, they have to look at, I mean, I've just dealt with Anne Marie on a parking similar to this, on an apartment complex. And it was kind of the intent, what she wanted to do with the intent of the law. This was just because it was causing a parking hazard and people backing out, wasn't blocking in access. But it's basically if they're there momentarily stopping, it's really hard to enforce, and it's not really the intent of the law for the fire lane, because it's just momentary.
So what is momentary? I mean, how's that defined?
Loading and unloading, a semi truck has to be there somewhere.
Right.
Right? Is there anywhere else for it to park back there?
Well.
I mean, it's not really parked. I shouldn't say parked. It's not parked.
So
It's
the-
stopped.
The fire line paint goes quite a ways.
It does.
Much further than I would have thought it would be required there. But, if they were to park, I don't know how far it goes
Not over here.
towards that little cut through between the first little strip mall part of it and the Waremark building. But there are trucks that park there and unload and load, as well as, the bay that you can pull up to.
Yeah.
I
It's an area that, I mean, it's obviously not on a roadway. I don't patrol it.
Right.
So.
Right, you would never, no.
I'm not familiar with exactly where you're talking about.
Yeah, it's right there.
Sorry, Famar.
Famar is the street, thank you.
Okay, so it's maybe something as simple as communicating with
Yeah, and
Waremark
yeah.
and, well, that's it.
The
really.
merit manager of the Waremark.
Yeah,
But-
if you would make sure, the
But if
trucks don't
I-
park right there.
Right, but if Mr. Citizen says something, it doesn't hold the weight that,
You don't know until you try. Well, you could threaten them that you're gonna come and talk to.
I mean, it
Trevor.
seems like it'd be more productive coming from the fire district, from the fire marshal, because I believe you have to maintain a 20-foot distance for their vehicles to get in, which is why you got the red on both sides of
Yeah.
that, on those curbs.
Technically, it's just that would be on the south side, wouldn't it?
so how do we do that then, I guess?
Well, that's literally what happened this week, with an apartment complex complaint. I called Anne Marie and said, hey, this is what's happening. And I was initially told by some of the residents that, their previous management had told them to park there. So she just called the new management, saying, hey, you need to resolve this. And I went there twice this week and haven't found any violations. So it literally, if you call Anne Marie and say, hey, this is occurring down at the fire station, and she can call Waremark and deal with it that way.
Okay,
She's good.
I will
Very
do that.
competent.
I guess bigger question is, when does the city protect the use of its infrastructure when it interacts or intersects with private property? Like, where's that line where the city will say, oh, you can't do that, even though it's on your property, you're interfering with public infrastructure?
Well, that was an agreement, I assume, well, I know with the fire station and their requirements for the fire lanes.
Well, I'm talking beyond the fire lines. If there was no fire line there, I'm hearing that the city wouldn't be able to do anything.
Correct.
There
And
is
so
a
I'm
fire-
saying-
So right now, what we're looking at, there is a fire lane.
Yeah, but I'm saying, where is the line where the city will step in and say, yes, this is your private property, but you are interfering with public infrastructure use?
Well, they're not.
Well, they are.
So I don't know the answer to that question, but I just looked at Marion County Assessor's map, and that little walkthrough you're talking about says it's on the property of 699 Famar, and on the backside of that backs up to Winco, and it says Winco owns it. So I didn't see any little right-of-way, or I might have to go to a plat map, to see that little section, but I think it's one of those things that we incorporated from the county a long time ago, and that's been there forever. And so, we just kind of said, well, when you asked a long time ago, it just felt like something we should clean the leaves up in that spot, but I think I might have spoke too soon when I said that was our
Right.
property.
The other one is, if it's, I mean, sometimes property owners do things for our benefit. And it may be that they put the gate in there and maybe just because.
Well,
They didn't have to.
This is more than a gate. This is a.
I know, but they didn't have to. And they probably, we had some dealings with Lincoln County and I forget who it was. I think it was Fred Meyer. Said, okay, you're gonna be that way about it. And they put up a 6-foot cyclone fence with no gate for 200 yards, which they're entitled to. And so it looks here like they're entitled to, if that's theirs. That they're,
If
so,
old, it's something Albertsons put in.
but,
That's what I'm thinking.
what the real issue is can we go through there and the fire, again, talking to the fire department, it looks like the best way.
Well, I
Not,
mean,
because
so-
it's not city property.
No, it's not. But that's, there, I mean, that's something right there, right? The fire department was able to tell a private citizen,
Yes,
private corporation, you need to do this.
right,
So that's
Because it's
the
in fire
line.
code.
Right.
yeah. When you build it, you had to.
Yeah, when it
Well-
was built, it was built into the code.
Well, this, I'll look into this, if I can figure out true, ownership anymore than you all can, but it just seems like it's clearly a resource that the city,
Well, who do you want to contact the fire department,
well, I'll contact,
the fire department?
no, Anna?
Anna Marie
Anne
at
Marie.
the fire department.
Oh, she at the fire, oh, okay.
Fire
okay.
district.
Then I will
Fire-
contact her
yeah, Right
and,
across the street.
and let her do what she needs to do.
She will,
Yeah.
she knows her stuff.
Yeah.
Yes,
But like I said, I was trying to look at the bigger picture of what the city can say to when people are preventing the use of what I thought, or
apparently not.
apparently not, we don't know for sure, is city property, but that's different. So I will do Anne Marie. What's her last name?
Storm.
Okay. All right, safe routes to school, road improvements list for crosswalk.
That
You
was
talked
just
about
my-
that, so,
Yeah,
okay,
that was just to support,
okay. Committee member input. Let's start with you, Hirsch. Got anything?
still working on the helmet, getting more helmets. Working a couple organizations at this point in time. We did get a big supply, paid for by Salem Health, so we have enough helmets to get the year started. And, plan on doing some work at one of the Kaiser schools with the Safe Routes to School programs, next month. So
Okay.
that's about it right now.
David?
Not really much, just mention for new members, both, that, we've provided thousands of, or hundreds at least, of helmets to the kids of Kaiser for pretty much, we're paying for most of it. And so we ask for a donation. And so we get together and a bunch of us here on the committee distribute the helmets, for example, a fire department open house, city, Kaiser Day down at the park, other events.
School.
We do that, and we need it, but besides Hirsch and I, we do need help once in a while.
And we fit the helmets, so you have to kind of learn how to
How to
fit
do
helmets.
that, yeah.
And, as far as the school district is concerned, we have an event in June at Weddle, and meeting with the Kaiser Elementary new principal, on Tuesday, and we did a big bike skill community event 2 years ago, and it was, the vendors and everybody, was a well-attended event, except no kids because it was pouring down rain. So,
And we've
But-
led bike rides and,
Yeah.
they call them bike rodeos, where kids, you train them on doing certain hand signals and stuff like that, safety So that's part of being on the committee also.
Trevor, do you have anything?
So I just want to thank the community for coming out and giving their updates on the neighborhood associations and just giving us some things to talk about. Thank you.
Matt, anything? David?
Have two things. Just would mention that on December 12th, there was the third meeting of a kind of the bike summit in Salem but it's basically between the Public Works Department in Salem and bike advocates, really looking at the projects that are ongoing and current and future priorities for safety improvements for bike projects around, in this case, the Salem area. And the second thing I wanted to mention was that on Sunday, April 26th is going to be the 50th Monster Cookie Ride. And if my understanding is correct, this is something that started by Hirsch and his family 50 years ago. Traditionally, it was a ride from the state capitol up to Shampooey and back. A couple of years ago, due to safety concerns on some of the highways going north-south between here and Shampooey, the route has now been shifted so that we go more to the east through like Mount Angel and that direction. This year, because of the 50th anniversary, however, we're going to change the route such that it will leave from McNary, head down to the state capitol, and then head east, north, come back through Kaiser Station, down the Parkway, basically catch Dearborn and come back to McNary. So heading out of McNary, it's going to go basically work its way through the neighborhood down there on 13th, over down to Mandarin, up to Cherry, and then south into the Capitol. Coming back, it again comes in through the bike path along the backside of Kaiser Station, catches the bike path along the Parkway, basically over to by Kennedy School, down through, catches Dearborn and back down to the high school. It will have routes of both around 63 miles, so the metric century, and then a route that's about half of that. Both of those routes will leave and come back on loops through, at least in Kaiser, it will be similar. And then there will also be a 6-mile children's family ride, again, leaving from McNary and obviously staying in the neighborhood down there. And I'm very pleased the 6-mile ride will involve and be led in part by, I'm going to miss his name here, but he's been very active in the Safe Routes to School, very good, wonderful cyclist, very...
Jacob Liebert.
Yes, Jake, thank you. Jacob will be helping lead that, and so I'm very pleased about that, because I think he's excellent with the kids, knows cycling really well, and has had a lot of work with them, because he leads a lot of the classes in the schools for the Safe Routes to School.
Do I get lunch?
That is actually going to be a change this year. Typically, lunches have been an extra fee. This year, lunch is included as part of the registration fee, so it will be available to everybody. And it's my understanding, it's a lot of the food and the lunches are going to be supplied by the Culinary Arts Program at McNary, which is also a change and very good.
The good old McNary, we love it. We'll be doing Mary Ann's original monster cookie recipe at the school, so.
I didn't know that.
Yes, I've been working with Debbie Miller Mary Ann has been working with Debbie Miller, and she is getting her original recipe that she created 50 years ago. And it's a nice one, and we didn't know it at the time, but they're gluten-free. M&Ms are gluten-free.
Okay.
That's all I've got, thanks.
Michael, anything?
No, I'm happy for the opportunity to be able to serve on the committee and give input where it's needed and listen when it's needed. And help make Kaiser safer for everybody.
Well, thank you for being there. Basil, anything?
No.
Okay. All right, staff report.
Okay, first one, you all have been kind of talking about it as I entered here tonight. K&E Construction repaired the dip on Lock Haven westbound. They started on Tuesday morning and they dug down and repaired it by the evening and then paved it probably mid-morning on Wednesday. So I haven't driven it yet, but I'm told it drives fantastic. So I've just been busy, haven't gotten over there. So that's been out there for a while, and it took some time to get a contractor on board to write up the contract and as things go. So we weren't just sitting on it, it's just procedure and taking time. So that's first thing. And second one, dealing with Zipley Fiber, who's still around town doing things. A while back, I put a hold on the permits right now. They have a handful of restoration, which are areas around where there's still sidewalks that need completed. There's holes in my streets everywhere, and a lot of restoration needs to be taken care of, and they continue to submit permits to go over and start doing something in another area of Kaiser. So we kind of just said, okay, no, we're not going to allow that anymore. Clean up what you have, and then we'll start issuing permits again. So there's not a huge backload of them. I figured they just keep coming in and I'd be sticking them in a file somewhere, but that hasn't happened. So that's good. We're working towards, getting somewhere with that. And it's just going to be ongoing. Their estimation was a year when we first talked to them. Well, it's been over a year, and I don't see an end. There will be an end. I will say that. It's just right now, it's taking a lot of time. So that's it with Zipley. And then last one I have is Bill Lawyer's retirement. There's a retirement celebration February 4th in the Civic Center from 4 to 6. So he's been here a long time. He's been a mentor to me, and we're losing a good guy. Wealth of knowledge. It's going to be difficult for that person to just go to and ask a question, and it's there it is, and stands by it and stands by us, stands by our crew, and great guy. So we're moving into a different era here, and so it's all good. So anyways, welcome anyone to attend.
Okay, thank you. Officer Powell?
Just an update on the Newburgh is not that it's ever going to be completed and done with, but I think we're pretty much going to call it a success. We've been there periodically. Myself and Officer Miranda were there this morning, witnessed one U-turn, illegal U-turn only, which is a huge improvement over the 15 to 20 that we had documented before. I think there was an education going on a little bit this morning. The sign that was there, it's still there. The sandwich board sign is under works. I think Public Works is going to be putting a permanent sign on some location there. Monday?
Tentatively.
But it's very similar to a speeding issue. There's always still going to be some there, but it's not as rampant as it has been. So that's why we're gonna chalk that up as a win at this point, this year so far.
Yeah.
The other one is, I know we've been hearing a lot of complaints and statements of exhaust noise from vehicles. It's a very hard one to enforce, because yes, you can hear them from a long ways away, but then to find that specific car, or by the time I've seen them multiple times, and by the time you see it go by, but we get caught in a traffic light, and it's not just, sometimes it's not worth the hazard that we would create by turning our lights on to go through a red light. So it makes it a little harder to enforce, but it is definitely ongoing. We've made several contacts just in the last 2 weeks for unreasonable noise and the improper exhaust. The improper exhaust is a correctable citation. The unreasonable noise is not. So we're targeting that and beginning to see what we can do to make a dent in. What I'm finding in the couple that I've contacted, a lot of these cars are the same cars or same people that take them to their car meets and shows. I'm doubtful that it will ever change that. if they're gonna be driving their cars and they're gonna be taken to the car shows, I don't think they're gonna be changing because that's part of their draw is the noise and stuff that they can do. So,
If you observe a car making noise, but you're not able to get them, can you do anything if you have their license plate? Can you send them a citation?
if I have their license plate, but I have to observe it personally.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, council?
I have a question.
Oh, yeah.
What do you call those radar things that show your speed when you're driving up the trailers we put around?
We would just call them speed reader.
Okay, a speed reader. We have two, is that correct?
We have two, yes.
Okay, are they well used or used a lot?
The one, I haven't been using very often because it has battery issues and it, you know, they're solar. Well, we don't get a whole lot of solar right now.
Yeah.
The one right now, we have replaced the battery. We've been using it pretty regular. In fact, it's out. It just went from Park Meadow this week, and now it's on Cummings.
Is there a demand for their use?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Is there any plans on increasing the number? I know, maybe you're not, how could we encourage the chief of police to acquire another one? Or is that a thing we should even think?
I don't think that would, I mean, me personally, my input would be two's enough.
Oh, okay.
Between the two, because, and then if there are certain places, I'll talk to Tammy. She had a request on Kaiser Road. I was going to put it up there. There's really nowhere to put it because there's grass medians separated by sidewalks. And in the wintertime, in order to drive a pickup out there to park it, it's pretty much in somebody's lawn. And it's already a road that already has the only street in Kaiser that has speed bumps. So sometimes the best way, if it's gonna have a speed reader, well, okay, let's have some enforcement behind it. So we as traffic will sit there. So between the speed readers is just a set outside and hey, here's a notice, or the two motors, we can pretty much cover it, I think.
But they're effective in slowing people down? Kind of effective?
That's, I couldn't say, but I've been told they do.
You hope they do?
Yes, I hope they do. Education is always best.
Would one that can record someone's speed and take a photo, would that be valuable? I know
On
they're
what end? We
expensive,
couldn't enforce it.
But,
For what gain? We couldn't enforce that.
why you can't? If it registers someone doing, say, 45 and a 35 and they take a photo?
We don't have that in Kaiser. That's a photo radar. And that's and that particular device wouldn't be, it's not
the same.
proper.
This isn't sensitive enough for court.
Okay.
And there has to be, the photo radars, that are used in Kaiser, yes, it takes a photo of them, but there's also a video that a sworn officer has to review and make sure that the tracking history and make sure that that vehicle's speed is consistent with the radar. So there's a lot of extra manpower behind that. Just a photo doesn't do it.
Okay, okay.
Is there a reason why we have the radar, or not the radar device? Well, I guess it is. It shows the speed as you're coming in to Kaiser on River Road, coming south. Is that just a transition from county to city? Or where it goes
up
from
by
55
Perkins?
to 40?
Yeah, Perkins
Yeah.
Road.
That's been there, how long has that been there, Mike?
A long time. Those came up through the committee, through speeding issues, and we bought a handful, the police bought a set, and we've bought some, and we've from requests, have stationed them in certain areas around town. Technically, they're movable, they're kind of big and not the easiest thing to move, but we have moved them before. It's been quite a few years, and we have one on Lock Haven North as well.
The one there on River Road out there by Perkins, the city, there was some arguments, it used to be 45 all the way to the county. And then the city, with a lot of discussion, members through this committee at the time recommended 40. And so how do you transition from 55 to 40 without some sort of warning? So that was kind of,
That one makes sense. And then the one on Lock Haven Northeast at Whitaker, that's just a good spot because of the school right there. And I think then it was just like, hey, Mike, go, we're gonna buy it and go put it up. So, how it actually got there.
There is an issue of people coming off the freeway. And I've noticed, I mean, after we talked, I think Officer, one of Powell or somebody was saying, people get accustomed to driving 75 on the freeway, dropping down to 35 on Lock Haven physically doesn't feel right. I mean, you should be going faster. And so that was nice. I get caught on that all the time. Oops.
Was it Aurora that's got, where it even says thank you or something like that? For when you're driving the speed limit.
I do like the one on Lock Haven. I can test my bike out.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Counselor?
Thank you, Chair de Blasi. I think the biggest thing that has been on our, on the city council, was the Little League management contract. So that's, been a lot. Finally, I think through that, and I would expect to see a pretty significant bump in traffic, over the summer months as the games and the tournaments ramp up. Considering I think the draw that this group will bring in. So in terms of the number of tournaments and the number of teams. So, just might keep an eye on that and ear out for that, so.
Has parking then been resolved? Because that was always before this.
I think that's something, I'm looking at Officer Powell and Mr. Griffin over there. They're smiling and nodding, and I think that we're all gonna be keeping an eye on that. Yeah.
Okay.
With the possible increase of more activities taking place at those fields, we've got that bike path, the Salem Parkway bike path there. Is there a plan to allow bikes to dump off that path at the fields?
That is ODOT's.
Okay.
It's, probably, one of the big problems with that whole area is the railroad tracks. I figure we're lucky to have that underpass that we've got over on,
Well.
whatever that is, over behind the shopping center.
Are you talking about by,
Of the road.
Behind Lowe's.
Tepper?
Goes underneath.
Temper.
Tepper Lane, yeah, I think we're lucky we even have that, because we remember, like, 10 years ago, broached doing some work up by the baseball fields on Kaiser Road, and let's just say the train people weren't the most cooperative. They really didn't have any interest in, helping, and it's hugely expensive to do anything up there. But anyway, their right-of-way is right up next to the road.
And the land there, because I learned from the maintenance of the bike facility, the ODOT bike facility, the maintenance by Chick-fil-A is tribal.
Yeah, oh yeah, that too.
So cutting through over and even getting either an over the Burlington Northern there or under would involve federal government and tribal. But don't think that hasn't been thought of. And having the hotel there, and especially if we get going pretty good with the baseball and stuff, it may be justified.
Did you have anything else?
That has dominated our conversations over the last few weeks, so, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so our next member that gets to report to council is Hirsch. Are you available for that?
February 2nd, yes, I
Yeah.
can make myself.
Okay. And our next meeting is February 19th.
And Donald, get me.
So, yeah, you'll be getting the poll soon, so keep an eye out for it.
Yeah, and I'll send you an email.